If a raised to power 2 minus a minus 1 is equal to 0, then a raised to power 6 will be equal to what? Hello, welcome to our maths class. For today, we are going to be taking the Maths Olympiad question, and in today's class, we will be looking for the value of a squared in this exponential equation. But before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. And remember to watch this video to the end because you are going to learn exciting skills in mathematics. Now let's solve this question. This already is a quadratic equation and we have our a squared minus a minus 1 equal to 0. So we are going to use a quadratic formula in solving this question. In solving this question with a quadratic formula, we'll have our a to be equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4c all over 2a, and that is the quadratic formula. Now, when we compare this with this equation we are given, you come to find out that the value of a is equal to 1, which is this, and our value for b is equal to minus 1, which is this, and our value for c will be equal to minus 1, which is this. Now, substituting this into that quadratic formula, we are going to have the value of our a to be equal to minus into bracket minus 1, which is b, plus or minus square root of minus 1 square minus 4 times a, which is 1, times minus 1, all divided by 2 times 1. Now, that solution question will give us minus 1 minus times minus will give us 1 plus or minus square root of minus 1 times minus 1, that is minus 1 square, will give us 1, minus 4 times minus 1 will give us 4, 4 times 1 will give us 4, 4 times 1 will give us 4. So we'll have our plus what? Plus 4, all divided by what? 2. So our a will definitely go ahead to give us 1 plus or minus square root of what? 5 over 2. So if we simplify that, we are going to have two solutions. Our a is going to give us either 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 and 1 minus square root of 5 over 2. So which of the solution are we going to pick? If we pick this solution, we are going to find out that 1 minus square root of 5 is going to give us less than 0. So it's going to give us a non-real solution. So we're going to reject this. And then if we look at this is greater than what? 0, and it's going to give us a real solution. So we'll pick this. So if we pick that, that comes to tell us that the value of our a from that quadratic equation is equal to 1 plus square root of 5 over 2. So we'll preserve this because we are going to use it at the end of this solution. Having gotten that, recall that what we are asked to look for is we are asked to look for a raised to power 6, and that is what we are asked to look for. Now, to find that value a raised to power 6, all we simply need to do is to bring out the initial solutions that have been given to us. The initial question is a squared minus a minus 1 equal to 0. Now, this will give us a squared. If minus a goes to the other side, that will give us equal to a, minus 1 goes over to give us plus 1, and then we'll have our a squared to be equal to a plus 1. Now let's do something. I want us to square cube both sides. Cubing both sides. Remember, whatever you do to the left hand side in maths, you always do it to the right hand side. So if we cube the left hand side, that is a square raised to power 3, we are also going to cube the right hand side, which is a plus what? 1 raised to power what? 3. So this will give us, remember, a law of indices, that if we have a raised to power m multiplied by n, is going to give us a raised to power m what? N. So that will give us what? A raised to power 6 equal to what? A plus 1 all raised to power what? 3. Now this has given us what we call a polynomial equation. Now let's recall our algebraic formula. We have an algebraic formula that if we have a raised to power a plus b raised to power 3. If we have a plus 3 raised to power 3, according to our algebraic formula, this will give us a raised to power 3 plus 3a square times b plus 3ab square, and this will give us plus what? Plus b raised to power 3. So if we expatiate that, that's what we're going to have. Now remember, we'll have our a raised to power 6 to be equal to what? A plus 1 all raised to power 3. Now, if you compare this value, this simple equation with this, you find out that our b is equal to 1. So, in this full equation, wherever we find b, we replace it with what? With 1. So, we'll have our a raised to power 3 plus what? 3a square, all in bracket 1, plus 3a into bracket 1 square, plus what? 1 cube. So this will give us a cube plus 3a square plus 3a plus 1. So what does that tell us? That tells us finally that our a raised to power 6 is equal to a raised to power 3 plus 3 raised to power 3a square plus 3a, then plus what? 1. Now we'll get working. What we need to do is to simplify this value. And to simplify this value, we're going to look for how to manipulate this equation. Now recall our initial equation that is given to us. In our initial equation, we'll have our a squared to be equal to what? To be equal to a plus 1. Recall, we got it from a squared minus a minus 1 equal to what? 0. So if we have this, let's assume we multiply both sides by a. If we multiply both sides by a squared multiplied by a, and this will be multiplied by what? By a. What are we going to get? We're going to have a squared times a will give us a raised to power 3 equal to a times a will give us a squared plus a times 1 will give us a. So what does this tells us? This tells us that wherever we find a, we can simply replace it with what? With a plus a squared plus a. So let's apply that here. If we apply that here, we're going to simply have this value. A raised to power 6 will be equal to a cube will give us a squared plus a plus 3a plus 3a squared, right? Good. 3a squared plus 3a plus 1. So let's expand that further. If we expand that further, we're going to have our a raised to power 6 to be equal to a squared plus 3a squared plus a plus 3a, we're collecting like terms, plus 1. So our a raised to power 6 will be equal to 4a squared plus 4a plus 1. Good. Now the next thing we need to do is also to bring about another manipulation, a logical skill will apply. We want to see what we'll replace with a squared. Now still recall that from our initial equation, recall that if we have our a squared, our a squared is equal to a plus 1. Recall we got it from a minus, we got it from a minus a square minus a minus 1 equal to 0. So that simply tells us that a square can be replaced with what? A plus 1. So wherever we see a square in the above equation, we can replace it with what? A plus 1. So that will give us 4 times a plus 1 plus 4a plus 1. So if we simplify that, we are going to have a raised to power 6 to be equal to 4 times a will give us 4a plus what? Plus 4 plus 4a plus 1. So 4a plus 4a will give us 8a plus 4 plus 1 will give us 5. So a raised to power 6 is equal to what? 8a plus what? Plus 5. So that doesn't end there. Now recall that we'll have our value of a from our solution to be equal to 1 plus square root of 5 over 2, which is the only real root in that solution. The other one was an imaginary root. So we'll bring it here. We'll now have a raised to power 6 to be equal to what? A. Replacing this, we'll have our 1 plus square root of 5 all over 2, right? Plus 5. So 2 here 1, 2 you give us here 4. So this will make our a raised to power 6 to be equal to 4 multiplied by 1 plus square root of 5 plus 5. So our a raised to power 6 will be equal to 4 times 1 will give us 4 plus 4 times root 5 will give us 4 root 5 plus 5. So conclusively, a raised to power 6 will be equal to 4 plus 5 will give us 9 plus 4 root 5. So the solution to our question a raised to power 6 is equal to 9 plus 4 root 6. Absolutely, that is the answer to this question. If you do enjoy this maths class, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you and see you watch our next video.